are back for another installment in relation to Jeremy's Detective Comics number 33. I'm glad you stopped by to support the channel. So what do we got here? We have the second wrap from the Interior Splash page. And obviously we have some problems here. Look at this cool art before we talk about the issues that we have to deal with. One panel right here is, look at that. Bruce Wayne, he does look dapper. In fact, look at Bruce Wayne. He's smoking a pipe. And what is also important is that he is walking around, not in Gotham City, but he is walking in downtown Manhattan. As he says, Bruce Wayne walks the crowded streets of downtown Manhattan. It was not until Batman number 4 was Gotham first mentioned. So Batman number 4 was the first time Gotham City was mentioned. Prior thereto, it was Manhattan, New York City, where I live, actually on Long Island, which is about maybe 40 minutes on a good day driving to Manhattan or NYC. So this is just a wonderful second page. And let's take a look at the back of this page. And what we have here, which I think is very cool, is Bruce Wayne, again, smoking his pipe, taking out the cowl, the famous cowl, and changing into Batman. And even driving a fancy car that is not the Batmobile, or maybe you can consider it the Batmobile, but it's not the Batmobile that we all know today. So what are we going to do? Enough talking about the art, which I love. We are going to work on this page next, and I know it's a long process, guys, but I did say I wanted to do each page, and I wanted to bring you along with me working on each page. So I apologize for the length of the uploads and the length of just the series so far, but with such a special book, I am putting a lot of time into it, and I can't rush it. I have to do it on my time so I can do my best. So what we need to do with this page is a little leaf casting. And in fact, it's pretty decent condition. There aren't really any rips -1, and I'll show you in a second, on the wrap itself. So this is going to be minimum leaf casting. The area in question that we have to focus on is the spine. And on the top half of the spine right here, where it looks like some bugs had some really great lunch during the life of this book. So we're going to have to leaf cast this section and a few sections going up and down the spine. So how are we going to do this, Jerry the Jitterbug? Well, the way we are going to do it is like I do all of my leaf casting. I'm going to reinforce the whole spine with 2 steps of leaf casting. First, I'll fill in the missing pieces, and then I will go down the whole spine to reinforce it. Because even though we can leaf cast and fill in these little sections, I still want to reinforce the spine, which is the backbone of the book. In addition, what side are we going to leaf cast? Well, this is the front side of the wrap. So if you're opening and thumbing through the book, this would be the second page. With the first wrap, as you recall, I did the front of it. I don't want to do the front of it for this page. I am going to do the reverse side because this side is going to be hidden by the page that's in front of it. And we're going to round it inwards, going this way. So we're going to leaf cast this side. In addition, there is one nasty tear And the tear is on the bottom right here where I am running my bone against the rip. As you can see, there is a nasty tear right here, and it appears that a prior owner of this page or the pages used a little bit of glue. I'll try to scrape this glue off, but if I can't, we'll do our best, and we may go over it with the Tengujo or Tengujo, but we will try to eliminate as much glue as possible. Which side I am going to install the Tengujo or Tengujo? I haven't decided yet. I may install it on the reverse side right here where the Batmobile is. I think this may be a better position to do it. So with that stated, maybe we are going to do all the repairs on one side. Now I have also a dilemma. And the dilemma that I have is this little corner right here. So this little corner is absent, meaning if we look at it, we are missing the angle. So there must have been a dog ear here that was flipped over and it fell off. So the question is, are we going to add pulp just to put that corner in? That's a very difficult question for me, and I don't know the answer yet. I think perhaps I may do it because we do have this rip right here, and that would also reinforce the area where the rip is on the reverse side. One thing I do know, though, is I do not have to leaf cast the perimeter of this page as I did in the first wrap because it's in pretty good shape. So that is one thing that I know that we're not going to do. So what are we going to do next? What is the goal, or what is the next step with this page? Well, with all the pages that I work on, or I worked on for this book, I want to deacidify that page. And the way that we are going to do it, and I've done this in the past, as everyone knows, is we are going to use calcium carbonate. And this is the calcium carbonate, and I get it from Talus. And this is a little bit, I think, less aggressive than calcium hydroxide. So that's why I'm using it. Now, we have a gallon of water right here in my pitcher. And what I like to do is I like to take, and everyone who watches my uploads saw me do this before, but we're going to do it again. I like to take a tablespoon of calcium carbonate and I put it in to the water, just like that. Then, once the calcium carbonate is added to the water, I like to aggressively stir the water, just like this. And we are going to attempt to dissolve the calcium carbonate into the water. This is tap water from my house that I use. I have a whole home filtration system that I have, and I think it cleans up the water quite well. People ask me, well, if I'm from Texas or Florida, could I use the tap water? And that's just an example of different areas in the country. And I would say I can't answer that because I know in different areas of the country, the water is different, has more minerals, more pollutants in it. And you have to make a case-by-case determination depending on where you live. But I think the water in my home with my filtration system and just the general water that the water company supplies to the home, it's pretty good water. But we're not that scientific on this channel. If you want to be scientific, hey, I have an idea. Go check out Dr. Paul's channel, Liberty Hill Comics, and Shelby's channel, and they just did a lot of work, and they produced and authored a comic book conservation book. And it's a kickstart on Amazon. This is the book right here. Go support them. They're great guys. And if you want to get a little bit more scientific than what I do, or if you don't want to get scientific, go support the book. In fact, Jerry the Jitterbug has a few pages or a page or two in the book. And I read the pages that they talk about me and my channel, and I am truly honored to be included in
Welcome to our Kickstarter. My name is Shelby, and here's my co-author.
What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul.
And we want to tell you about our book, Comic Book Conservation. To start with, we'd like to tell you a little bit about ourselves. I've been collecting comics since I was a kid in the 70s, and over the past 4 to 5 years, doing my own cleaning and pressing. About a year ago, I discovered Paul's YouTube channel on conservation and was instantly inspired by the work. I've been actively conserving comics for close to a year now, and been posting my own videos on my YouTube channel.
I've been collecting comic books for over 40 years and started cleaning and pressing comics about 5 years ago. This hobby has given me so much, and I have a desire to give something back to this community. After some research and reflection, it occurred to me that most comic book conservators aren't aware of the vast paper conservation literature. I decided what I had to contribute to our hobby would be to be a bridge between that literature and the comic book community. That's when I really started digging into the peer-reviewed paper conservation literature and applying the knowledge I gained there to comic book conservation. Soon after, I started creating content for YouTube and then created the Facebook group, the Comic Book Conservation Community.
And that's where this idea of the book really came from, was the community. Several people reached out telling us how much they enjoyed the content of our channels, and some members of the community started writing down to help others with questions about conservation. At that time, I had some extra time on my hands, and Paul asked me to help out with the Facebook group, and I started pulling together a summary on conservation. Paul's channel had been a huge asset to me, and he had already been collecting research on the topic. As I worked on, I realized this was the first time comic book conservation had been thoroughly documented in text. And before I knew it, my little summary was over 30 pages. When I showed it to Paul, he was floored and exclaimed, "We are writing a book." Together, we set out to create something truly unique.
I had already assembled most of the bibliography because for years I'd been scouring the peer-reviewed paper conservation literature for methods and materials that might be applicable to comic books, trying them out, and then sharing them on YouTube. Each series I did built on the previous ones, and I developed a few new methods specifically suitable for comic books along the way. I script out each of my YouTube series, and I even write a short bibliography for each one. So I shared my PDF library with Shelby, we wrote an outline of the book together, and then he started writing like a madman. He really is a very talented and prolific writer with over 30 peer-reviewed papers to his credit. Most people don't know this because he doesn't brag about himself, but he also has a PhD.
Our goal was to write a book that would be seen as a resource, something that a conservator would keep near their workbench and reach for when needed. We wanted to bring in the science, so we added sections to the end of each chapter entitled From the Literature, with references for all the information. In addition, we wanted to share our knowledge with comics. We added little stories throughout the book entitled The More You Know. And finally, we owe so much to the community and the great work they're doing, we decided to devote a whole chapter to their accomplishments entitled Accomplishments from the Community.
We hope you are as excited about this book as we are and will consider backing our project. We've put a lot of ourselves into creating it, and to encourage your support, we're offering rewards at all funding levels, starting at just $10. For the true comic book conservation enthusiasts, we also have signed copies and a special edition of the book available. Thanks for considering our project, and until next time, be kind to one another.
And remember, peace, love, and comics. Bye, all.
So we're going to let this settle down overnight, and we're going to let the powder absorb into the water, and then it's going to sink down to the bottom. And then we are going to deacidify this wrap that we just looked at. I'm not going to show the deacidification on this upload or even the next upload. The next upload in relation to this wrap, it's going to be right to it. We're going to leaf cast. We're going to get to the leaf casting, and we're going to do the Tengojo repair as well, in addition to the leaf casting. I'm going to do them all at once, and then we're going to get rolling and we're going to get moving, and I'm going to try to bang this book out as fast as possible. So I hope you enjoyed the upload, appreciate your support, and stay tuned.